5:06 a.m. Monday, December 13th, 2021. Sunday's my Friday, Monday's my Sunday. Wait, Sunday's my Saturday then, right? Except Saturday's my Saturday. So, we were getting people sent home and whatnot, and not too busy at night, at work tonight, and I requested to take a break. Normally do that on the busier nights, but I was like, I just would like to go check up on the home front. So I came out here. When I left for work, I had Roger closed off in the blue room, and when I got home on the break, of course, I went around and greeted all the other cats and gave a bunch of loves, and then went into that room, opened it up to the bedroom with the bedroom closed off, and brought Roger in and had her lay on my chest and took a nap. About a half hour. Just kind of, I was, as evident, I hope, in, okay, let me put it this way. It should have been evident in the previous video about the not what I, whatever thing, that, I mean, I was obviously not happy. But the other thing is that I was also anguished at the fact that the situation is just getting worse or whatever. So, she had food and water. She had a litter box in that room. Lots of comfy bed to lay on. And so then I opened it up to the bedroom, expanded it for that, and napped with her for a bit. And, you know, she's tentative, but, you know, I want to gain some trust back. I don't think she's feralizing in this environment, but, I mean, I talk to her all the time, but there's lots of times that I'm not here, so, I don't know. Since last night, Samira is aggressive. She's not, like, fighty toward me, but she's very grappy, glawy, scratchy, whatever. Just on things, not on cats. Oi has been concerned with Roger. April has been kind of curious, but also keeping in a high hide and napping. Not sure Princess noticed. So anyways, after the nap, I'd set my alarm for a half hour. I got up. Didn't just jump straight out of bed. Took the time to, you know, pet the cat and everything, and spend some time talking to her. And kept her in those two rooms, and changed everybody's water out, and headed back to work, and went out the rest of my night. It was decent, and for, you know, a relatively slow Sunday, made pretty good money. Not going to complain. So I came home, and I've eaten a little bit of food, and watched whatever content came out that would have been of interest during the time that I was working, but I was too busy grooving to music and making money. So anyways, all of the other cats except for Roger have come up and snuggled me. I've opened up the bedroom, paid particular attention to body language, tail movements, etc. with Roger when I did that, and I think she liked the isolation. I think she preferred to be able to just be alone for a while, so I think when I go to work, most nights I'm probably going to kind of give her her own space. I think that'll alleviate a lot of it. I wasn't sure if that was going to be the right thing to do, but I've been pondering it. My first thought was the pink room, and now I'm thinking the blue room, because the possibility of come home and take a nap and whatever, and try and, you know, get through to her, and because every cat has a nice half and a not so nice half, and they're not even halves, and this is that Les Chipper thing. The nice half used to really be the dominant half, and the intervening 3 years, the nice half has really dwindled in that cat. So we're gonna see if we can't find it. I think. You may think this is goofy or dumb because this is a cat, but if you've ever owned a cat, there are trust exercises, and I don't know. So I'm going to attempt to regain this cat's trust and hope that in the process that the nice half will kind of take control again. She's always been a little bit of a wild one. Of every cat I've had, known anything like that, she has been the least consciously able to control whether her claws are in or out. You know, she can do this kind of stuff and whatever, but consciously retract claws, do whatever you like. What this translates to for humans is some cats will do little soft paws, and this is an obvious affectionate thing when they're doing the cat play, but there are literally no claws. It's just toe beans. And then there's love bites and such, but then there's also, the fighting claws, the slashing and pulling. And she has like the sharpest claws, but it's not that they're always out, but it's like it's like if Wolverine's claws popped out basically every time he stretched. Like, so, and I don't know, it's every other cat that I've ever been able to intuit, an idea of careful claws as a verbal, it's not a command, but it's a coaxing. She has not got that. I've also seen her automatically do kung fu, so I don't know if there's, the fact that she was an outdoor stray that was picked up, and then the house that she had to live in or whatever with the boy cats that were going after the other, the cat that ended up being the mama cat for my cat babies. She's different from the others, for sure. And maybe that's part of the problem because, all of the rest of them will do the soft little skippity pabs and when they fight and play and whatever, and she just has claws all the time. And it's like, well, okay, so then they think she's fighting, so then they fight, so then there's violence. Or at least that's a part of it. There's definitely territory and dominance stuff. As soon as she comes in, as soon as I opened the door up, Princess came in and started eating her food, and Roger's tail went down to the floor and started doing low swishes, and it was like, okay. So, I am gaining information. My throat's hoarse because I've been smoking a lot, not because I've been screaming. There's been no raised voices tonight. Still kind of, I don't know, I got some peppermint tea I'll probably have when I wake up or something. I'm not going to have tea tonight right now. What else is there? It was a distinct night. I can't say it was odd. I can't say it was perturbing or surreal or weird or anything. It was just a distinct night for the events of the evening. I am still paying attention to a lot of the stuff going on in the world. I am keeping it at a distance. I have been for a bit. I've become more consciously aware of the degree to which I'm doing it. I'm not avoiding things, but there's I've kind of lapsed on the Maxwell trial coverage a bit. I will be catching back up to it tomorrow a little, but while there are some large implications, it's really obvious already that there's cover-up and all this other stuff, and the whole point is that people with social media are supposed to be out posting stuff and identifying themselves as a particular kind of troublemaker, and all simultaneously reigniting salt in the wounds with frickin' opposing ideologies in tribal fashion and all this other crap. come on, you got to wake the people up and see the thing. And it's like, no, that time has passed. I've said that before. So I am watching. It does matter. But at the same time, what's going on, how they're doing it is as important, if not more so than whatever the ultimate verdict is going to be. It's not going to open up any new criminal charges on anybody in particular. A few people that they named, some of them were for the purpose of, like, what's his name, Chris Tucker, like, being like, come on, you know that guy's not. And it's like, well, I mean, you don't know that. I'm not saying he is, not saying he isn't. And then they mentioned Trump. Well, yeah, of course. I don't know if they mentioned Bill Gates. And of course, Bill Gates, the ultra hero with the COVID. And it's like, wouldn't that be dumb if the entire plan was for the specific purpose of that guy's ego in regards to being able to be public hero enough that most folks would not believe that he was affiliated in a negative way with that scumbag with the jet in the island and all that crap. So, anyways, that is going on, but I'm not focusing on it. I feel for the people that are, but the impression I've gotten is it is an extremely emotional, extremely gut-wrenching. There's a lot of really heinous things that went on, a lot of serious emotional abuse. It's not about sex. It's about control. It's about these weird people with not unlimited funds, but an unlimited credit line with intelligence agencies in some places and a job to do. And in the meantime, they do whatever. And the one guy's so weird that apparently my guess, just from my esoteric understanding of things, is that the guy is okay with violating minors. I'm sure there's age limits and things that he's probably found in Old Testament or something, because definitely the guy was Jewish. And I'm not saying that this is not, do not misconstrue this as any kind of anti-Semitism. What I'm saying is that we're talking about a guy that would say, I can't work on the Sabbath, but will eat bacon. Or we're talking about he has no issue with the minor females thing, but he would rather they be the ones pleasuring him rather than he spill his seed on the ground. Savvy? That's weird, is what we're talking about. These very bizarre people, their worldview, and you know what? Maybe they have a better idea about some things about the way the world works from the way that they lived or whatever, and I'm not endorsing the way that they lived. But at the same time, the worldview also is tainted by the activities in which they participated, which means that they saw depravity, therefore they would assume depravity. There are other trials afoot. That one actor who's a liar got convicted. That's cool. Good job. That's all I'm going to say on it. He doesn't deserve more than that now. The cop with the taser. I haven't heard much about it. I'm going to start following tomorrow. I've got a day off. Ricada's covering it. And I think the prosecution is still presenting. I'll be able to catch some I'll be able to figure out, based on what they talk about. They will always come back to former topics to bring up current audience, because they are anticipating bringing larger audience during the daytime, new people, and in new people, hey, welcome back. If you haven't been watching, here's where we're at. So, that's why I like his channel and his shows. He knows how to format. So, I'll be following that. I don't know. The import of that trial is more the underlying cause behind the individual being in that place in the first place. In a way, it reflects the fallacious argument about whether or not Kyle Rittenhouse had any business being where he was on that night in Kenosha. However, in his case, it was legally proven he had as much right to be there as anyone else, doing what he was doing, as much as anyone else had a right to be doing what, and if not, possibly more right, because the people that were rioting were destroying other people's property and breaking all kinds of laws, and in fact, Kyle didn't really break any laws. See where I'm going with that. But the thing is, in the case of, what's her name, Kim Potter, the understanding I have is that she was a desk cop. And I may find out tomorrow that there's all kinds of new information that has surfaced in the trial through evidence yet. That, and of course, the defense hasn't even, each witness gets a direct, a cross, a redirect, and a recross, I think, depending on where they're at. And, but it's still prosecution case and witnesses. From what I understand, the situation is she was a desk cop for a very long time, and that after all this defund the police nonsense came about, doing it the wrong way. It's like, you want to get rid of police, you get rid of police, but there's other, you have to arm everyone first. Defunding them the way they did meant that the people who were retirement age were given early retirement. So people who were in middle, who were maybe desk jobs, would have to take up on anybody on the street that there were other people who were going to move around or get rid of. So it's like they defunded, they got rid of staff, and someone who survived the culling had to go out as a beat cop on the street instead of riding a desk, being an administrative cop. And so here you have someone who has definitely got the requisite basicest training on that sense and probably kept up on a lot of things. However, did not have the real-time muscle memory practice of an active duty cop, of a street patrol police officer who would be doing probably a lot more, because there's kind of the, and I don't know, I might even find out that she's a heavy practitioner of shooting range too. But the fact is that while she was in the right to draw her gun and shoot the guy, she shouted taser first, therefore it was an accident, therefore it was some kind of negligence or whatever. I think that's the angle they're taking. It's a lack of practice. It's a fish out of water. Yeah, definitely. Definitely there's some training issues unless we find out that there's something else going on. But the thing is that she didn't mean to kill the guy for damn sure. And the circumstances that put her on the street should be on trial as much as anything, but they won't be. What else is going on? A red wave is anticipated in the next election. Right now, a lot of people are going to be watching to make sure that nobody cheats. Right now, in the next election, it's an important thing to vote. And the best thing you can do is to do your homework. Oh, did you think I was going to say vote or vote red? Do your homework. We live in Iowa. If you're living somewhere else, look up your own state's state house legislative lobbying organizations. Find out who the big groups are. There's one that practices in Iowa, or at least they used to, and they practice in other states as well. Their name is ALEC. I think it's ALEC. And I don't know what it's what it stands for. Association Legislative something. What I've seen typically is that the ones who are lobbied by ALEC tend to be the corporatist party name and name only types. You can also look into the corporate donors and look into the histories of companies so that you can know, for example, you've heard some of the stuff about Nestle talking about the water not being a human right kind of thing. Nobody who says you should just have water. Now, their CEO ran the company. If their company is still run the same way, and that company, or anyone affiliated with that company as a shareholder, donates money to a particular candidate, that probably that candidate is not going to be a decent candidate unless they mindlessly just take all the money, in which case they're also not a decent candidate. It is possible to look into dark money and donor connections and find out who sponsors who. The best bet right now is going to be to look for like log cabin Republicans, libertarian Republicans, independents caucusing or campaigning with Republicans, but be skeptical because that's the same thing that Bernie Sanders did. Because here's the thing, and I only have about 5 minutes left to get to this. I'm not going to do a second video. The Democrats control the House. The Democrats are the ones who fucked with the election. The Democrats are the ones who are pushing all of the agendas at this time, and Republicans in name only as well. So we'll say the corporatists, the mainstream, the crooked ones. But the House of Representatives is run by Democrats right now, and the Democrats in the House will not allow anything but what they want through to go through, even though if it doesn't pass the Senate. But if the House can vote enough votes on it, which they may have on any given bill, they can basically bypass the Senate and send it straight to the president, who will then sign it. In the case of some very gnarly legislation they keep trying to push through. The Speaker of the House is probably going to retire. She was kind of triggered during a press conference, and her reaction was readable. They're expecting a red wave. They are expecting to lose. And if the typical Republicans, as we've had over the years recently, get back into control, nothing will happen of consequence. Nothing will change fundamentally. Remember, that was the thing that Biden said something about vote for me and nothing fundamentally will change. Well, I mean, actually it did, didn't it? That guy was lying. But there are people who are trying to primary and caucus, depending on which state. When the primary season comes, pay attention. Find out who's on the ballot. Attend the local primaries. This may involve registering as a Republican. Don't worry, they're not going to hunt you down. The first order of business will be to get rid of the top two people. Get them out of office. Neither of them is competent nor qualified, and there is, in fact, a growing mountain of empirical evidence that they are not legitimate in their positions. After this year, if enough people vote for the right kind of candidates in large enough numbers, we have people willing to stand up and do the right thing, trying to get there, to undo or fix the mess that we are currently in. So when I said voting is not going to fix this, in the next election it's possible that something may happen. The other problem is that they may also fix it anyway, like the election itself. And if that is the case, Boogaloo is basically the only other option. I'm not exaggerating. I'm not. It's so obvious how corrupt our government is. All the governments are. It's obvious that they've been allowing us to believe that we are choosing our leaders. Meanwhile, the founding document of this country says that our rights are inherent. They are with us from birth. And what that means is we have the fundamental natural right to upend tyranny. And guess what tyranny is by definition? Even if they try and change the Webster'sOfficial.com definition. Tyranny is rule by threats, coercion, hypocrisy, corruption. So hopefully we can all unify. Hopefully we can all come together. We can rout the pieces of shit out of our elected representation, and if not, we must all come together and physically remove them. There is no other alternative. It is written into the Constitution that this is an essential thing, and I think we may be about to learn that lesson. My time's about up on this video. I'm going to go to bed soon. Tomorrow's my day off. I don't know. We'll see what the week brings.